Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time. Today, that means it is revision time. I am Uncle Agbaje. Let's look at our learning objectives. For today, our objective will simply be for you to be able to recall important points from our previous lessons. So what you need, my friend, is a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper, because you will be doing a lot of calculations. Let's begin. First question for today says, which correctly describes the temperature reading on this thermometer? And your options are, it is 40 degrees and it is hot, 50 degrees and it is warm, 50 degrees and it is cold, 50 degrees and it is freezing. Imagine that it is the temperature of water. What is the reading and how would you categorize it? I believe you've selected your answer by now. Well, there is no doubt about the fact that this temperature reading is 50 degrees because the line stops on 50. But is it warm, cold or freezing? I presume that it is warm. Remember that the normal room temperature is about 20, human temperature about 37 degrees. Oh, well, let's see if you were listening to me. The normal body temperature of the human body is approximately dash. Options are 32 degrees Celsius, 35 degrees Celsius, 37 degrees Celsius, and 39 degrees Celsius. Have you selected your answer? Because I just said the answer some seconds ago. The correct answer, of course, my friend, is 37 degrees Celsius. I believe this is what you selected as well. All right, then, let's move on. Next question says, which of these lines is parallel to, is as long as IJ and is also parallel to IJ? And we have so many lines here, but the options are AC, MN, MI, and JN. First thing you want to do is to identify where IJ is on the diagram. Then look for the line that is parallel and is also as long as IJ. Is it AC? Is it MN? Is it MI? Is it JN? Well, I've selected my answer and I believe that you have selected yours as well. The correct option there will be MN. And that's because this is IJ right here and this is MN. They're as long as each other and they're also going in the same direction. Let's move on. Which correctly describes the temperature reading on this thermometer? And now the options are minus 2 degrees freezing, 2 degrees very cold, minus 8 degrees freezing, minus 2 degrees cold. Which one is your answer? Well, the correct option should be minus 2 degrees, but is it freezing, very cold, freezing, or cold? Well, it is minus 2 degrees freezing. That's because the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. Anything less than 0 automatically would have frozen if it is water. Okay, let's move on. The temperature of boiling water is 100 degrees on the Celsius scale. This is the same thing as what? On the Fahrenheit scale. 100 degrees Celsius is how many degrees Fahrenheit? Do you remember this? The options are 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and 221 degrees Fahrenheit. The answer is very clear, isn't it? You selected it. Let's see whether you're correct. It is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Good job you selecting the correct answer. Now, this question says, which of the following is not true? And when you see questions of this type, it means that all the statements are true except one of them. You have to fish out the one that is not true. Now, the options are, the higher the temperature, the colder it is. Option 2. The higher the temperature, the hotter it is. Option 3. Fahrenheit and Celsius are units of measuring temperature. Option 4. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Which one is not correct? All right, I believe you've selected your answer by now. The correct option to select here will be the first one. The higher the temperature, the colder it is. And that is wrong because the higher the temperature, the hotter it will be. All these other statements are correct. Fahrenheit and Celsius are units of measuring temperature. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. So let's move on. Which of the following is also not true? As some statements, you have to select the one that is incorrect. The shortest line joining 2 points is a straight line. That's option 1. Option 2. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Horizontal lines go from right to left or left to right. Diagonals can be vertical or horizontal. Which one is not true? I believe you've selected your answer by now. Well, the shortest line between 2 points is a straight line. Is the shortest distance joining 2 points. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Horizontal lines go from right to left or from left to right. But when you say a line is a diagonal, that line cannot be vertical. It cannot be horizontal as well, because this is a vertical line. Now this is a vertical line and this is a horizontal line. But when you say line is diagonal, it means it is not vertical, neither is it horizontal. So let's move on. Which of these is not a unit of measuring temperature? You have the Kelvin, you have the Celsius, you have the Fahrenheit, and you have the meter. You've selected your answer already? Yes, the answer is quite easy to say. It is the meter. I mean, even if you are not sure of the Kelvin, you know that meter is used to measure length. That is what we did last week. So we use Kelvin to measure temperature, not the Kelvin in your house. We use Celsius and we also use the Fahrenheit. They are all units of measuring temperature. Now this question says, convert 95 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. Now you have to remember that song. Fahrenheit back to Celsius, shed of the 32. Then you need to scale it down with 5/9. I'll give you 10 seconds to work it out quickly and select your answer from here. Have you selected your answer? Well, let's see which one is the correct answer. The correct answer is 35 degrees. Let's see the working to this. Fahrenheit back to Celsius, shed of the 32. So you subtract 32 and you get what? You get 63. Then you need to scale it down with 5/9. So you scale it down with 5/9. 9 goes here 1, 9 goes here 7. 7 times 5 is 35. That's how you get your 35 degrees Celsius. Did you get that correctly? Good job, you. Let's move on. Umar measured the temperature of a glass to be 86 Fahrenheit. Help Umar to convert the reading back to Celsius. It's the same problem. Fahrenheit back to Celsius. I'll give you 10 seconds to work that out. Have you selected your answer? Let's see how it's done. The correct answer is 30 degrees Celsius. So working that out, Fahrenheit back to Celsius, that's 86. Shed of the 32, so you subtract 32, and that will give you 54. Then you need to scale it down with 5/9. 5/9. So 9 goes here 1, 9 goes here 6. 6 times 5, you get 30 degrees Celsius, which is the correct answer, my friend. Good job you selecting the correct answer. Let's move on. Which angle is vertically opposite to the shaded angle? This should be easy for you. Which angle is vertically opposite to the shaded angle? You've selected your answer by now. The options are 5, 6, 7, or none of them. Well, the correct answer is 6, because vertically opposite angles are recognized with the X. Remember? Then the angle that is facing the shaded angle at the point, the junction, is 6. So 6 is vertically opposite to the shaded angle. You have to convert 65 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Do you remember the song for that? Celsius to Fahrenheit, scale up by 9/5, add 32 to it. That's all there is to it. You have 10 seconds. Scale up by 9/5. All right. So what is the answer to that? Let's see. It's 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that what you got? If that's not what you got, then pay attention to how it's done. So Celsius to Fahrenheit, we scale up by 9/5, and that is 65 times 9 over 5. 5 here 1, 5 here 13. 13 times 9 is 117. So you have 117. Then add 32 to it. So plus 32, and you get 149 degrees Fahrenheit, my friend. Good job you if you got the answer. If not, perhaps you will see another question of the same type as we move on. Now, which of these is not correct? First statement says normal room temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. Second question says the temperature of boiling water is 100 degrees Celsius, which is the same as 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that correct? The third option says the Celsius and Fahrenheit are equal scales. Is that correct? The last one says to change temperature from Fahrenheit back to Celsius, we must first subtract 32. Is that correct? Ponder over it, select one. I believe you have your answer by now. Let's see which one is not correct. The one that is not correct is that Celsius and Fahrenheit are equal scales. They are not. The Celsius is a different scale from the Fahrenheit, and that is why 100 degrees Celsius is not 100 degrees Fahrenheit. 100 degrees Celsius is 212 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. Good job you. That was easy for you. Let's move on. Now, which of the following is true? Now, in this case, you have to select the one that is true because most of the statements are not correct, but one of them is correct. So, parallel lines are also perpendicular lines. Is that correct? Perpendicular lines have no angles between them. Is that correct? Parallel lines never meet. Is that correct? A curve is not a line. A curve is not a line. Is that correct? Which one of them is correct? You've selected your answer by now. Let's see which one it is. The true one is that parallel lines never meet. Parallel lines are not perpendicular lines, so this one is not correct. Perpendicular lines have angles between them. In fact, the angle is 90 degrees, so the second statement is not correct. A curve is a line, it's just not a straight line. A line joins 2 points. A curve is an example of that. It joins 2 points as well. So the only one that is correct is that parallel lines never meet. They go in the same direction like the lines of your book. All right, so let's move on. The next question says convert 22 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. This is a chance to test how you are going to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit again. So begin. I'll give you enough time, but remember, Celsius to Fahrenheit, scale up by 9/5, add 32 to it. That's all there is to it. I'll give you enough time for that. Should have your answer by now. Let's see the correct answer. It should be 72.5. Now, how did we get that answer? Let's go. 22.5. First, we scale up by 9/5. That is 9 over 5, 9/5. Now divide. 5 goes here 1, 5 goes in 22, 4 times remainder 2, 5 goes in 25, 5 times. Don't forget there's a decimal point here. Now, 4.5 times 9 will give you 40.5. If you selected 40.5, you will be incorrect because you will need to add 32 to it. So plus 32, you get 72.5. So my final answer, my friend, is 72.5. Let's see the next question. What is the value of angle X? You should remember your work on angles, and this should be very easy for you to calculate. You should have your answer right about now. The correct answer should be, is it 22, 68, 78, or 88? It should be 68. And why is that? Well, angle on a straight line that forms a semicircle should add up to 180. Now, if this is 112, you only need to add 68 to it, and you will get your 180 degrees. Let's move on. Which of the lines is perpendicular to CD? Perpendicular. Do you remember what perpendicular lines are? Well, we have CD, then we have AB, MN, DC, BJ. So, which line is perpendicular to this CD? You selected your answer. The correct one should be BJ. Let's see why that is. Because this is CD. Okay, this line here. Now, the line perpendicular will make 90 degrees with it. And where is BJ? This is BJ. So you can see, oh sorry, this is BJ right here. Stops here. Okay, so MN is not perpendicular, it is parallel. DC is the same line. DC is the same thing as CD. So the only one that is perpendicular is BJ. I believe that was what you selected. And I say good job you. Let's move on. Angles that add up to 90 degrees, we call them what? Angles that add up to 90 degrees. You remember the song? Alright, select the correct answer, then I'll come back to you. We have augmenting, complementary, supplementary, complementing. Which one is it? Okay, the correct answer is complementary. You remember? Coco 90, so. Well, sing that along as you take your own practice during your private time. Let's move on to the next question. What is the supplement of 60 degrees? What is the supplement of 60 degrees? Do you remember that song again? You should have your answer right about now. The correct answer is 120 degrees, and that is because supplement means what I will add to an angle to form 180 degrees. Remember, coco 90, so 180. So supplementary means 180. So if you want to find the supplement of 60, it means what will I add to 60 to get 180 degrees? So it's going to be 120 degrees, my friend. Let's move on. Which of these is not true? You have this E. You have that diagram, and it says E is equal to 68 degrees. F is equal to 68 degrees. E is equal to G. G is a supplement of 68 degrees. Which one of these statements is not true about that diagram? And you should have your answer already. The answer should be the first one. E is not equal to 68 degrees because E and 68 degrees are on a straight line. And angles on a straight line are not equal. They add up to 180. F is 68 degrees because it is vertically opposite. E is equal to G because they are vertically opposite. G is a supplement of 68 degrees because they are on this straight line, and angles on the straight line are supplements. They add up to 180. So the one that is not correct there is the first one. I hope that's what you selected. Good job you. Angles that add up to 180 are called dash. I mean, this one should be easy for you. We have angles on a line, supplementary, angles in a circle, complementary, and the correct answer is supplementary because remember that so 180. Good job you. That's it for the mathematics segment of the program. It is now time to hand you over to Uncle Popo for the revision session of the general studies class. Till I come your way in the next lesson, remain wonderful mathematicians.